All right, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you guys so much for joining us here, of course, on this Thursday evening. And so we're going to go ahead and take a little pause for the cause. We got some members of an awesome group. They call themselves Los Chavalozz. So on the line right here, we got Mr. Mark and Mr. Jess. Hello, guys. How's everything going?
Hi, man. How you doing?
Yeah, there you got both of y'all, both of y'all going at it. So how's everything been going?
Good. Everything's good. Just enjoying seeing that song come out as we released it not too long ago, and seeing the love with Mas Chingo on radio and all of y'all supporting it. So that's been really, really, really nice to see. But we've just been staying at it, getting ready to start doing more live performances here towards the end of the summer, early fall, as we kind of see what's going on with all of our music on the radio right now.
That's awesome, man. The song was great. Mi Madrecita Querida was great. Y'all specifically, I guess y'all specifically released it for Mother's Day, wasn't it? Or was it just a regular song for any occasion?
No, it made a lot of sense for us to release that particular song ahead of May in preparation for Mother's Day. Obviously, if anyone's heard it, they know really how special it can be and how, I guess, emotionally driven it can be for certain people that obviously have a tie and connection with their mother. And especially for those of us that maybe have lost a parent or lost a mother, we felt like it was appropriate timing to let it out in the early spring, so that way people could enjoy it, for Mother's Day specifically.
There you go. How long have you guys been playing?
Oh man, so we've been around a little while. We probably got together back in 94, 95, and so that we've been together for quite some time. We recorded back in 98, 99 with Bob Griever with Soundmex Records back in that time frame. So we were very young at that time. We were all in high school, college at that time. And so we were hitting the scene from the mid-90s all the way to the early 2000s, and we traveled everywhere and in between: Texas, Kansas, New Mexico, into Mexico, Arizona, other places like that. But we've been at it for quite some time, and we did take a little bit of a pause over the years as kind of life caught up with most of us, and a lot of us ended up having families and becoming grown men and that sort of thing. But as fate would have it, we decided to kind of come back to what really called us all together, which was our love for the music. So I think everybody, Mark's on the line, he might be able to add to that, but Tejano's have been in our blood, so we just figured it was not necessary to be gone for too long, so we figured it was time to come back.
Yeah. So do y'all come from a musical background, like parents, grandparents, uncles?
Mark, what do you got on that one?
For me, yeah, I have actually my uncle. So I play trumpet with the group, and my uncle actually played trumpet back in the 60s and 70s with his group. And my dad was a trumpet player as well, and got me into playing the instrument. And my love grew for Mexican music just by listening to what my dad did. I played mariachi for a few years, and that helped with falling in love with just the heart and soul and how music can make you feel. And Jeff can attest to this, that we play our music for the love of the music and to get the enjoyment of watching other people enjoy our music. We've never been in it for making a living to try to pay our bills with it, and so we've been very fortunate to be able to do the things we want to do because we love what we're doing.
Nice. Have you guys put in any other singles before? And like you said, you guys have been in the group since like 95, mid-90s. Have y'all put any singles before this one?
We put out 2 albums back in the day. But as far as modern day right now, that the Madrecita Querida was the first one with our newer stuff, a little bit more polished, that we decided to release this year. And then I think you might have your hands on a sample of what we're about to release here probably in about another 30 days or so, which is a cumbia sin ti. So that one will be pushing out here, especially with summertime. So But yeah, we have several songs kind of ready to go to kind of get us through the rest of the year and start helping us. Get us pushing through the end of the year. But Madrecita Querida was the first one for 2019.
There you go. So you guys are currently working on a brand new album?
Yeah, so we're working on, I mean, we have material that we've already recorded and that we have kind of ready to go and on standby. Mm-hmm. But as you know, in music right now, we just gotta let it out, one at a time, so that way they'll each have their opportunity to be heard and kind of, add to the chronicles of what Tejano music is right now. And I mean, since we've been in it since back in the 90s, I mean, Tejano has completely changed, as you well know.
Yeah.
There's always a change in the music. There's always ebbs and flows. For one time period, it's accordion heavy. Then another time period, it might be keyboard heavy. And then it might go to more of a regional sound, and then kind of come back to a classic sound. So we've just kind of really focused on staying true to our sound, which is horn driven, horn heavy. A lot of people, over the years have said we kind of sounded like a mix between the good old days of a Little Joe and La Familia type, to a Latin breed, to a Tierra Tejana, to now, what modern times would maybe be like a La Fiebre, Tormenta type, La Sombra type, so it's always been horn driven. I'm the accordion player myself, but we've always believed in putting out music that kind of breathed and had its own, we just like to color our music, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So that way the horns have a part, accordions have a part, and then it just flows better. That's always been our style.
Now, with the new single, Mi Madrecita Querida, did a lot of people take a liking to it? Due to the fact that, of course, they had either lost a mother, or the fact that it was Mother's Day, did a lot of your fans take a liking to it?
Yeah, I mean, they're yep, go for it, Mark. Go for it.
Yep, so, we have that song out there on YouTube, so that way, people who didn't, have the opportunity to buy this single yet, or to catch it on, any of the paid services that are currently out there. So we put it out there on YouTube, so that way everybody can enjoy it this past weekend. And we, from Friday till Monday, we had a little over 400 views. I feel that a lot of people were touched by it, and I'm glad that song had a lot of special meaning to us when we recorded it. And even today, for some of the people that we lost over the years, that song had a real special meaning, and I'm glad that people are able to get the feeling that we're trying to put in with that song.
Yeah, I think a lot of people can relate to that, due to the loss of a mother or grandmother or aunt or some kind of relative that way, or just as a just as a gift, I guess, for a mother.
Yep. No, totally agree. I think our culture, our Hispanic culture and our Mexican roots has always lended itself to us. Like you said, maybe for some people it may not have been a mother. It could easily be a grandmother. Mm-hmm. That takes that place, or it could be an aunt, or somebody along those lines. Because all of us had some sort of strong female connection to a woman in our lives who was that strong, loving role that we all have always wanted. But especially with our culture and our heritage, we know that women in the Hispanic and Mexican culture have a real strong position in the family unit. So I think I could apply to many different circumstances for sure.
Exactly. So you got the new single, right? The new single coming out called Sin Ti. You sent us a little sample of it. Mm-hmm. Let's go ahead and take a listen to it real quick, if you guys want. We'll go ahead and take a listen. Okay. So is this the first time it's heard anywhere? Yeah,
actually, this will be the first time it's been out on any public airways. Yep.
Okay, so let's go ahead and take a listen for everybody out there. Get ready for this one. This one is called Sin Ti. Just a little minute version of it. So here we go.
Los recuerdos, los momentos que pasaba junto a ti, ahora vienen decirme que no es fácil olvidarse de un amor. Me engañaste, de mi amor te burlaste. Ahora vienes a pedirme perdón. Sabes que te olvidé.
All right, so that's the latest right there. That one is called Sin Ti. Go to talk about it real quick. What is it? Where did this song come from?
That particular song was written by our keyboard player, actually, and just kind of one of those little love songs, you know. I mean, that's a traditional type, I guess, composition for that cumbia style. I mean, as you heard it, it's got that traditional, what I like to call that old school Tejano feel, where it's nice and soft, but it's got some of those R&B lyrics and tones to it. So, and again, the music was just kind of letting it breathe, right? Like, I mean, you can hear the horns, you can hear the keyboard doing what it's doing, you know, some of the accordion licks and whatnot. So, it was just we're really fond of that song. We think that it really is a classic Tejano, what we would consider a Tejano cumbia arrangement. Really is I think the best way to explain that. Mark, you got anything on that?
Yeah, I mean, just like Jeff said, you know, we're a big band, right? So we have 2 trumpet players, a trombone player, a saxophone. We have Latin percussion, accordion, keyboard player, you know, bass player, guitar player, drummers, and a singer. I mean, so we're a big group, and what we like to do is make sure that when we play, our sound is that every instrument gets to breathe, every instrument gets to shine. And as you see, right, there's the horn parts like Jeff was saying. The keyboard player got to play a little bit of salsa in there to kind of get us moving, and the accordion player filling in where we need to fill in. And that is just classic Los Chavalozz. We want to make sure that everybody has a chance to shine, and everybody gets to breathe on their own and not overplay a lot of the, you know, we don't want to get too, you know, musical in terms of stepping over each other. So we want to make sure that everybody has a chance to fill in and make that color, that our sound that we have.
Yeah. And in a big band like that with more than, I guess, 6, I don't know how many people exactly you have, does it take time to get the music correctly? Because like you said, you don't want to overstep anybody and have one instrument sound louder than the other or overpower all the rest of the group. Does it take a long time to prepare for a big group like that, especially for a song?
Actually, we've been really lucky. You know, the guys that we've had playing with us all these years, and since we've played with each other since we were really young, we've learned to work really well with each other. There's times where when we're actually composing the actual arrangement, you know, we have an idea, the accordion player may have an idea, the rhythm section has an idea, and we kind of work through all that to make sure that it makes musical sense. And that allows us to breathe appropriately throughout the song. And sometimes it's a little bit difficult in terms of, you know, trying to get everybody's perspective into the song. But for the most part, everybody understands what we're trying to do, and we're just working together to make the best product that we can for every song, right? We truly believe that every song that we put out should be a hit. And if you go with that mentality that, you know, it is the best of the best that we can put out, then that's the way that the song should be portrayed.
There you go.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to depict it. And I'll add on to that real quick. When we were younger, I definitely feel like, I mean, this is going back to the 90s before we got our first record contract and all that other good stuff. I will tell you that when we were younger, I think all of us were pressing a little too hard, and we always wanted to do a little bit too more. But just like anything else, kind of like a fine wine, I think over time we realized that sometimes good music, sometimes less is more. And ultimately the listener wants to hear something that's musically pleasing and that's not confusing to them, you know? And so a lot of us come from formal music backgrounds in the sense of like school-taught jazz bands, marching bands, mariachi bands, orchestras. A lot of us came from like that type of schooling, if you will, in different forms. So we knew a lot of music, and I think early on we were just excited to throw it all out there. But as time has gone on, we've realized that the arrangements really are pivotal or vital to a song really feeling the way it's supposed to feel. And sometimes, like I said, keeping it simple, everyone talks about keep it simple. I think that's more our take on it now. And like Mark said, we really don't struggle too much these days to really come to a consensus about what a song should feel like. So we've been really fortunate over the years, to be honest with you.
So back in like the 90s when you guys were starting out, of course, Tejano music was a lot more busier than what it is now.
Yes.
How have things changed with like radio? Of course, you still have FM and AM, but now the internet's taken over. Is it the same busy schedules, or has it mellowed out a little bit but it's getting more broader with internet radio?
I think it's totally different. I mean, back then, in the heyday of what I consider when Tejano became commercially acceptable and very popular because of the legends out there, that were killing it at the time. I mean, that were just going nuts. I mean, you're talking about La Mafia, you're talking about Tropa F, you're talking about Emilio, Selena, right? Like, those bands were nationally and internationally known. So they were making Tejano cool again, right? They were making this onda, this vibe. They were making it acceptable. And so that was a different time. That time, that to me those were the wild days. I mean, I remember back then we could play in with the weather right and in springtime and summertime. I mean, we could have 20 to 25 gigs on our books for 1 month. Yeah. Depending on what was going on, because everyone was looking for Tejano bands, and even if they weren't the top headliners, everyone was looking to hire Tejano bands at church festivals, at the quinces, debuts, all that other good stuff. And now things have changed. Obviously, the music has evolved, and to your question, the way that the listener consumes music, because of Pandora, because of Spotify, because of YouTube, and so on and so forth, it's thoroughly changed it. Because back then, it was about albums. It was about putting together amazing albums that artists could really push and support and play live for easily 18 months, some even 24 months before they even would think about going back into the studio. Yeah. And so now we know that the consumer or the listener is listening to Tejano music, or, whatever you want to call this onda, but I still call it Tejano. Like, right now, one good song, honestly, for some artists, is all it takes right now. Because the consumer really is only looking to listen to their favorite song. They're not looking to listen to a 10 to 12 song album anymore. Yeah. So it's totally changed. And as you know, the club scene is totally different today in 2019 than what it would have been in 2009 or even 1999, the club scene has changed. The festival scene has changed. So I think it's good. I mean, I won't sit here and complain. I think it's good. I think it's a natural evolution of the industry as a whole. But I will say, kind of like what Mark was mentioning, we are going to continue to put together that sound that has horns, that has accordion, that has keys, so that way we can still play the music that we feel is where I think the majority of us, like on the Chavalozz side, like, I think we believe firmly that it's the Monsantos of the world, the Tierra Tejanas of the world, the Little Joes, and the Ruben Ramos type. Like, we really pay homage to those types of groups that really, for our purposes, pave the way for the sounds of the 80s and the 90s to even have a chance. Yeah. And so I think without those groups really bringing in the big band sound, and back then it was more orchestra type, it was a little bit different. But we really want to stay true to being able to have that sound. No different than, like, let's say if La Mafia was to put out something right now, it's still going to have the heavy keys and the heavy bass lines, right? Yeah. Because that's La Mafia, right? And so, I mean, we definitely aren't changing our sound to be what is in right now. We're just staying consistent with the sound that we've always put out, which was always that combination of horns, accordion, and keys.
Yeah. Now, speaking of
and one thing.
Go ahead.
One thing I'll tell you is that back in the day, radio play drove your popularity. Right? If you were on the radio, people want to come see you live.
Yep.
And in today's market, with the internet the way it is, right, we can get out to touch many more people today with our songs because of the internet radio and guys like you that are working hard every day to push out this kind of music. They can be reached everywhere and get to know us and not have to worry about when are they going to come to my city so I can listen to them.
There you go. So with the new album, what do you guys plan? What are your plans for the new album?
We kind of, the plan at the beginning of the year, because we started kind of putting it together. Actually, I want to say, I think we started formalizing a lot of the plans back in November of last year, roughly. And so we put the music together on Madrecita Querida, got Sin Ti ready. We have a few others, like I said, kind of in the wings waiting to be released. Our take on it was to kind of put together more of an EP, an extended play, versus a full-blown, full-length album, especially because it had been a few years since we've been out in the industry.
Yeah.
So we wanted to just kind of sprinkle the industry and see what the feedback would be, see what, because obviously since the last time we released some stuff, I mean, internet radio is now a real thing, as you well know. I mean, it's alive, it's a real thing. And we know that even FM radio is starting to die in some markets, right? So we know that too. So the plan really was to re-solidify our name, put out some good, clean music, some decent, really, good music that we were passionate about, and really embrace today's way of letting the listener find the music and hear the music. But long term, I will tell you that, like I said, we're all grown men now, so we're not as Chavalozz as we used to be, right? But now that we've got those grown men, things to do with our families and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
The plan was always to release the stuff in the spring, get that cumbia out in early summer, and then be ready to start hitting the stage live again, get back out there end of the summer, early fall, and really start kind of turning it back on. So loosely speaking, that's the plan right now.
Okay, so you at this point right now you have no gigs lined up until I guess during the summer or after summer.
Well, we've actually had to turn some down to be honest, because we did not anticipate even Madrecita Querida, like that's gotten a lot of people interested, and as I'm sure you would imagine. And so we just want to make sure that once we get back on the stage, because of the size of our band, that we're able to really put together the set that we're going to be happy with, and that we are very hopeful and optimistic that the crowd out there, in various towns and cities will be receptive to. So we're actually developing that right now as we speak. So we knew that putting the music out there was going to kind of create a small problem, which was people were going to want to start seeing us support it live immediately. But we're just sticking to the plan right now. And the plan was always towards the end of summer, early fall, get it back live. So those are the conversations that we're having right now with a couple of different promoters and a couple of different towns and stuff. So we should have news, on that sort of thing probably over the next 30, 45 days as far as, when those live events will start occurring. So we just got to be very planful with what we're doing as far as those live gigs right now.
There you go. And if anybody wants to purchase the single, where can they get it from?
They can go to CD Baby. They can find it on CD Baby. They can find it on Spotify and Amazon, Google Music. I mean, it's on all the platforms. It's on all the digital platforms, iTunes, Apple Music. It's everywhere. So that particular single has been released, and then Sin Ti, most likely within the next 30 days, if not sooner, Sin Ti will be released, and that will also be available through CD Baby, Apple Music, iTunes, Amazon, Google, all that other good stuff. So And you know, a lot of our music right now, we're releasing it independently through our own independent label. So we're kind of the captains of our own ship in that sense. So it's really cool to be able to just control the timing of that and let them out as we see fit, versus a record label from a corporate standpoint, kind of controlling when we can let things out and that sort of thing. So we're pretty excited about doing it this way right now, but it's everywhere.
Awesome. Any shout outs that you guys want to give out real quick?
Mark, what do you got, Mark?
Well, really, I just want to give a shout out to all our old fans that were excited that we were getting ready to come back onto the scene, and all our new fans that we're starting to generate. All the love that we're getting, you know, especially from you, Juan, and Machine Gun Radio. A lot of the internet radio stations are taking a hold of our music and playing it for us. I'm excited that, you know, we are moving up on the charts on your top 20 countdown that you have every week. Yeah. That's always exciting to listen to you for that, to see, you know, where we fall with that song. And so, you know, to all of our families that have been with us and friends, we know that when we're getting into this new endeavor, that they're going to be supportive, and they know that we're doing it for the love of music, and it's our passion, and they support us, and we appreciate them for allowing us to do the things that we love.
Awesome.
Yep, both it.
Jess, any shout outs?
I think Mark covered most of it, but I mean, to you, Juan, and to Machine Gun Radio, I really, it's an honor for your platform, your station, to be spinning us and to be promoting various artists. I think that's something that needs to be recognized. You know, it's easy for internet radio or regular radio to spin the traditionally known, the traditionally popular artists. Mm-hmm. I think it's a whole different level. I think you're taking it to a whole different level when you're supporting other names that maybe, you know, aren't as popular at this point in time. I think that, to me, is really exciting to see, and really just makes me feel good about the onda in the music industry as a whole, because it goes to say that people still believe that new artists breaking through with new songs, mm-hmm. creating new hits and creating new classics, if that's even a thing, new classics, right?
Yeah.
You know, with people doing that, that to me is enough to keep me excited about creating more music. So that way we know that there's always an avenue for it to be heard. And so, you know, when we did this, you know, many moons ago, internet radio was not even a thing. And to see it now, like Mark said, for people to be able to access it and to hear it faster and quicker than ever before, through streaming and through online and internet radio, it's really cool, man. So I really kudos to you for what you do and the time that you put into the industry and to promoting not only Los Chavalozz, but a lot of other groups out there who are simply pursuing their dream and their passion of putting together really good music in an industry that they're passionate about. So other than that, all of our old fans, they know who they are, and we've ran into a lot of them, and we've talked to a lot of them. And again, the families that you know, back us, all of our wonderful families and our wives and our siblings and parents and even our children now. You know, I mean, it's really neat for our children to kind of even be along with us in this next chapter of our ride, for them to see us releasing music. And for, you know, Mark and I are in a very similar scenario where, you know, some of our teenage kids are looking at our music on iTunes and they're freaking out, thinking like, wow, like I thought y'all just kind of played music and y'all weren't that serious. But to see it where it is, it's really validating, because I think even our children can see like, wow, this is like my dads actually do play music, and they actually do get heard, and they do actually get played on internet radio and that sort of thing. So yeah, it's really cool, man, and we're very appreciative of it, for sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you for the compliments. I mean, we try to help everybody as much as we can in the business, and you know, it gets overwhelming. Like I say, on the countdown, we have like over 70-something songs, and fixing to add here, you know, this weekend. So it's going to be up to probably 80-something songs. But I mean, the good thing is there's music out there, and you guys are continuously making music, and that's a good thing. I mean, Tejano is not dead in any way. It's just took a different route, I guess you would say, but it's a different era, different day. So, but the same love and passion for the music.
Yep.
There you go. Well, listen, we want to thank you guys so much for your time and everything. Congratulations on the new single. We can't wait till you guys release the Sinti single completely and see what else you guys have for the new album.
That sounds good. And if anybody out there, and if anyone out there listening wants to be able to find Madrecita Querida, the best way they can do it, they can go to loschavalos.com, and that's Los Chavalos with 2 Z's at the end. So that's the best way to get it.
There you go. All right, so...
And Juan, you'll be the person we send the release to, all right?
Awesome.
I'll make sure you get it first.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And, of course, we'll have it on there. As soon as it gets released, we'll add it to our countdown and see how that does as well.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for your time, and thank you so much for the interview. And you guys have a good evening. And like I said, I will say this: you guys are on the countdown. I can't tell you exactly where, so everybody would just have to listen in. But you'll end up getting a double play here tonight because we're gonna go to play Mi Madrecita Querida right now as we go ahead and let you guys go.
Awesome. Thank you, Juan. Take care.
Thank you, Juan.
All right, no problem. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Los Chavalozz right here on Más Chingón Radio. And this is their latest. This one is called Mi Madrecita Querida right here on the People Station. Súbele.
Te fuiste de mí, madrecita mía. Cuánto te quiero y no te olvido. Madrecita preciosa, te traigo siempre en mi mente. Todo en mí terminó. Dentro de mi pecho. Mi madre. Madrecita preciosa, te te traigo siempre en mi mente. Mi madrecita dorada, te traigo siempre